Every week, the NHL world eagerly anticipates the release of the ESPN NHL Power Rankings, providing a moment of triumph or opportunity for reflection for each of the 32 teams across the league. This week's rankings see the Winnipeg Jets holding on firmly to their top spot. The shockwaves of the roaring Jets juggernaut are felt across the hockey universe, particularly in fantasy leagues where the stats of individual players impact decisions of fantasy managers worldwide. In evaluating the Winnipeg Jets lineup, Perfetti becomes a focal point for fantasy managers. Despite not quite living up to lofty preseason expectations, Perfetti remains integral on the second scoring line and power play. Given his potential for multi-point games, it's recommended that managers exercise patience. Meanwhile, other teams face less promising prognoses for some of their players. For instance, Brent of the Carolina Hurricanes causes concern as he struggles to produce without power play time, triggering a verdict of panic among fantasy enthusiasts. As rankings and performances fluctuate, the Panthers have climbed to the third position from fourth. However, fantasy managers should be wary of Gustav Forsling, whose contribution post-playoff heroics seems fleeting. A parallel situation unfolds with Marc-Andre Fleury of the Minnesota Wild. Despite being a reliable goaltender, the emergence of Filip Gustavsson has restricted Fleury's playtime significantly, suggesting a panicked shift might be warranted for fantasy managers. At fifth, the Washington Capitals find an opportunity in Matt Roy. As a player adjusting to a new team, Roy requires time, but shows promise worth waiting for. Similarly, Mika Zibanejad of the New York Rangers maintains his position despite a slow start, reminding fantasy managers of past seasons where he has surged following early lulls. Advocating patience in these scenarios could pay off. The Vegas Golden Knights, holding steady at seventh, rely on veteran Braden McNabb, whose defensive prowess earns him a call for patience from his fantasy base. On the contrary, Quinton Byfield from the Los Angeles Kings, ranked 11th, hasn't generated power play points, a critical fantasy factor, resulting in advised panic for those who have rostered him. Amidst these narratives, several players like Matthew Knies of the Toronto Maple Leafs, ranked 12th, Devin Toews of Colorado Avalanche, ranked 15th, and Linus Ullmark of Ottawa Senators, ranked 16th, prompt patience from managers due to promising signs in their statistics and roles. By contrast, Jeff Skinner of the Edmonton Oilers, ranked 13, Erik Karlsson of the Pittsburgh Penguins, ranked 27th, and other players across the board create concerns for fantasy enthusiasts. Each player harbors their challenges, from not meshing with team dynamics to not producing expected fantasy numbers, that necessitate decisive action from fantasy managers, whether that's trading or benching until fortunes improve. Finally, at the tail end of the rankings, the Montreal Canadiens witness a beacon of future promise in Sam Montembeault. Although the team is not performing strongly enough for immediate fantasy benefits, faith in a long-term revival keeps the spirits up for persistent fantasy managers. Thus, in the fast-paced realm of NHL and fantasy hockey, strategies oscillate between patience and panic, each decision crucially aligning to the ever-evolving performance of teams and players. Fantasy managers must navigate these waters with both caution and boldness to achieve their desired success. Thanks for being part of the community here at Sport Bites AI. Remember to subscribe.